Wild dogs. It was a sunny day in the Savannah Hills when an African wild dog walked out of his home. Mr. Dog sniffed the air, looking for dinner for his family. The winds brought him a delicious smell of chicken from a nearby farm. He crept his way to the shack where the farmer's son was feeding the chickens. Mr. Dog waited until the boy turned his back. Once the boy turned to get some water from a well, Mr. Dog ran and snatched a chicken. He brought it home to his wife and kids. The two of them cooked it into a delicious meal with worm sauce and an ant side. The next day, Mrs. Dog went out. She went back to the farm where the son was patrolling with an axe. Mrs. Dog snuck slowly behind him. He rounded a corner, and that's when she struck, snatching a chicken and some eggs along with it. Mr. Dog and Mrs. Dog made it into a wonderful dish with just those two ingredients. However, on the third day, things were different. Mr. Dog went out to the farm to see that the farmer was there with a shotgun. Mr. Dog snuck and grabbed one of the chickens. Unfortunately, it made a noise, which alerted the farmer's attention. It was late, and Mrs. Dog was worried when her husband was not home. She went out and sniffed her husband's smell. She went to the farm when she realized her husband was shot. He was covered in blood and only had 3 legs. But luckily for her, he was still alive. She dragged her husband back to the home where the children were both happy and scared to see their father. While her husband was kissing their kids, she went out for some revenge. In the middle of the night, she crept back to the farm and to the chicken coop. She took one of the chickens along with the eggs. She got back to the house, to the delight of the children and the shock of her husband. But before he could protest, she went out. She again went back to the farm and took a chicken, but this time she was not so quiet. The chickens made a racket, alerting the farmer. But she was gone by the time he was out with his shotgun. He waited until she came back and fired. He missed, and while he was reloading, she snatched another chicken. He went to see how much chickens he had left. He only had 1. He saw her creeping back to the coop. He fired and successfully shot her tail. But despite her tail being gone, she still ran clumsily and got the last chicken. She heard the farmer's scream as she got back to her den. Her husband complained in whimpers at her injuries, but she merely pointed the month's worth of supply of food they now had. The two of them kissed, and ignored that deep down they knew their injuries was probably not worth the food.